Welcome all you beautiful creatures. I'm the evil twin known as Carl Asami.
And I'm the better half, Max Cal.
And today we'd like to welcome you to the first episode of our new video series, Pinball Pinheads. Why do we call it Pinball Pinheads? Well, mostly because we don't know a thing about pinball.
We are in fact pinheads when it comes to this kind of stuff.
That's right, Max. So of course we decided to produce a show about this stuff, because the best way to become an expert at something is to pretend to be one.
Fake it till you make it.
That's right, Max. We recently picked up this hidden gem for the Nintendo Wii. It's Pinball Hall of Fame, the Williams Collection from Farsight Studios. It's a collection of 10 classic pinball tables from Williams Entertainment from the 1970s all the way through the 1990s. Now, instead of reviewing the game as a whole, we thought it would be more interesting to explore each pinball table individually.
And we can milk it for all it's worth.
Yeah, work is hard. I want to milk it.
Yeah.
So without further ado, we present to you the first video in our series.
Firepower!
Firepower was released in February of 1980. It was the sixth pinball table from world-renowned designer, the King of Flow himself, Steve Ritchie. He's the older brother of another famous pinball designer, Mark Ritchie, and the original voice actor for Shao Kahn of Mortal Kombat fame.
You weak, pathetic fool. All too easy.
Steve Ritchie was hired by Atari in 1974 as an electromechanical technician. 2 years later, he was promoted to work in Atari's pinball division. Steve Ritchie often butted heads with his superiors over his designs and production costs. They pretty much told him he would never be a successful game designer. His first pinball table, called Airborne Avenger, was released in 1977 and had a modest run of about 350 tables. In 1978, he was hired by Williams Entertainment and quickly designed two new pinball tables, released in 1979, Flash and Stellar Wars. Flash was particularly successful, producing 19,505 units. Having proven himself, Steve was encouraged to push the envelope even further with Williams' latest computer hardware. He soon began work on Firepower.
Firepower's sound design and lead programming was done by Eugene Jarvis, who is noticeable for creating the 1981 arcade classic, Defender. He attended UC Berkeley during the mid-70s. During this time, he played the original 1962 version of Space War, a famous space dogfighting game that used an oscilloscope to display graphics. This inspired him to apply for a job at Atari. He joined Atari's pinball division in 1976 and worked closely with Steve Ritchie on Airborne Avenger. After its release, Steve left Atari and joined Williams as he was unhappy with Atari's toxic working environment. Eugene opted to stay, but he left 3 years later when Atari dissolved their pinball division. He was hired by Williams in 1979 and reunited with Steve Ritchie to design Firepower and Black Knight. We'll cover Black Knight in our next video.
Firepower's cabinet artwork was made by Constantino Mitchell, who has 60 game credits to his name. Notable video game credits include Joust and Defender. He's also done work for Premier Technology and Konami. Firepower was inspired by the Fireball pinball table released by Bally in 1972, and Steve Ritchie's previous table, Flash. Steve and Eugene wanted their new design to progress the fast-paced multi-ball action found in Fireball and the fancy visuals and sound effects found in Flash. Williams Entertainment provided them with stronger hardware, allowing them to pioneer some new features. No other pinball tables came close to the computational power of Firepower, making it really stand out. It was the first solid-state pinball table to support multiple balls, the first table to feature scoreboard animations, and the first to have a lane change feature, where the player can control which lanes are lit up by pressing the right flipper. This allows skilled players to achieve point multipliers faster than normal.
It's also the second pinball table ever to feature speech, pushing the computer hardware to the edge of their capabilities. The 7 phrases spoken in the game were performed by Steve Ritchie himself.
The cabinet art's grown on me, but it's nothing to write home about. The 80s comic book style sets the stage with sci-fi jet fighters opening fire at some lazily rendered Death Star knockoffs. The dudes on the bumpers look like they hitchhiked here right out of the Marvel Universe. This font for the title just looks terrible. The red and yellow lines on the sides are a seemingly random pattern, but it really pops against the black background.
The sound design is predictable, but well done. Lots of lasers, thrusters, and explosions. The table doesn't have a constant stream of sound, so it does get quiet at times. The speech sounds a little robotic, as all speech did at the time, but considering the sci-fi theme, it fits right in. Firepower features 2 flippers, 4 pop bumpers, 2 rows of stand-up targets, 3 kick-out holds, 2 rollovers, 1 spinning target, and up to 3 ball multi-ball.
Oh my god, Firepower is a frustratingly difficult table, even when you start learning the angles. The outlanes are like black holes, with all paths seemingly leading to them. I can't tell you how many times I've seen balls bounce into the drains having never touched the flippers once. It's very discouraging. Center targets are deceptively inviting, and often cause the balls to ricochet into the drains in the blink of an eye. Multi-ball is hard to achieve compared to most tables, so you barely ever see it. And yet, this table can be addicting. The synergy between the lights and 80s sound effects is satisfying, and the simplicity of the design is easy to grasp, but the challenge is real, making it suitable for serious pinballers and newcomers alike. I find myself going for the spinner most of the time, as it's the safest shot on the table. The angles for controlled target hits are tough, but necessary for extended play. It's a real rush when you get into the zone and achieve multi-ball. You really feel like you earned it. I can see why Firepower is fondly remembered, but the design shows its age. This thing eats quarters like a bear preparing for hibernation. It's vicious. I distinctly remember playing Firepower as a child and losing 6 balls in mere seconds. That's just not fun. My initial impression of this table wasn't great, but after spending more time with it, I've grown to like it. Veteran pinballers will probably get a lot of enjoyment out of the game, but newcomers, prepare to lose your balls.
Firepower really cemented Williams as the leader of the pinball industry going into the 80s. However, it wouldn't be long before the release of Black Knight, a game that most argue is even better than Firepower. Does the Black Knight slay Firepower, or is it just a flesh wound? We'll find out next time on Pinball Pinheads.
Thank you for watching. We hope you enjoyed the video. Twin Opinion cares about your opinion, and your participation keeps us alive. So share your comments, hit that like button, and subscribe to the channel. You can also find Twin Opinion on Facebook or visit our website at asamiarrow.com.